a net water gain or loss. Water continuously leaves and enters the cells. However, the quantity of the water and the solutes is kept in balance. There are two approaches in maintaining this balance. Animal body fluids are kept isotonic to the external environment. Even for marine saltwater environment, these animals thus do not require actively to adjust their internal osmotic state, so are known as osmoconformers. The animals whose body fluid concentration differ noticeably the outside environment actively regulate to discharge excess water in hypotonic and excrete salts in hypertonic condition, therefore are called osmoregulators. Animals inhabiting different environments have distinct adaptations to regulate osmotic balance, for example marine, freshwater and terrestrial environments. Osmoregulation in different environments. Most marine invertebrates are osmoconformers. Among the vertebrates, hagfishes are isotonic with the surrounding sea waters. Most cartilaginous fishes maintain lower internal salt concentration than that of sea's water. Their kidneys for osmoregulation excrete salt through gills and also possesses salt excreting organs such as rectal glands. These employ active transport mechanism to remove salt against osmotic gradient. Some fishes have relatively low salts in body fluids but have rendered these hypertonic to that of sea's water by retaining urea in adequate concentration. Because urea in high concentration is damaging, so these fishes retain another chemical, trimethylamine oxide, for protection against urea. Bony fishes and the descendants of freshwater ancestors but later became marine constantly lose water from their hypotonic body fluids to hypertonic environments. These fishes have adapted themselves to drink large amount of sea's water and excrete concentration urine, resulting in maximum salt excretion and minimum water loss. Osmoregulation has enabled the animals and plants to distribute themselves in wide range of habitats. Osmoregulation. Freshwater animals are constantly facing the osmotic flooding of body fluids and loss of salts. Freshwater protozoa, amoeba and paramecium pump out excess water by structures contractile vacuoles. Many freshwater animals including fishes remove excess water by producing large volume of very dilute urine. The loss of salts is compensated by preference of salt containing food and by active uptake of salts by gills and skin. Terrestrial. The evaporative loss of water leading to dehydration is the major problem for terrestrial life. Arthropods and invertebrates have successfully adapted to terrestrial mode of life. Terrestrial animals are covered by body surface which prevents loss of water as the waxy exoskeletons of insects and multi-layered dead keratinized skin scales of the most terrestrial vertebrates. Drinking and eating moist food compensate the loss of water. These animals also have metabolic and behavioral adaptations. Some desert mammals, for example kangaroo rats, survives without drinking water by feeding on seeds of desert plants containing more carbohydrates which produce water of metabolism. Terrestrial animals produce concentrate urine in their kidneys that reabsorb most filtered water in the process of excretion. Terrestrial animals can tolerate dehydration and it differs in various animals. This characteristic is known as anhydrobiosis. Excretion. Among the assimilated nutrients in animals, carbohydrates and lipids are metabolized to CO2 and H2O. Proteins and nucleoproteins metabolism produces waste nitrogen in various forms in different animals. The waste nitrogen proves toxic if it is concentrated in the cell, therefore it must be removed from the body. The elimination of wasteful metabolites, mainly of the nitrogenous nature, is called excretion. In contrast, the mechanism of excretion in plants is different. Plants in their autotrophic mode of life produce oxygen and in metabolism produce CO2 and H2O as the excretory products. Plants also produce several organic and inorganic compounds which are stored for various purposes and are also removed when necessary. Excretion in plants. All living things must undergo excretion. It is one of the essential properties of life. In plants, oxygen could be looked upon as a waste product of photosynthesis, carbon dioxide a waste product of respiration, and water as the waste product of both. The mechanisms of elimination of the gases are described in the respective chapters. Water is lost through transpiration or just need for maintaining the turgor in the cells. Plant cells have large vacuoles. These can be used for either storage of useful compounds or the storage of waste substances. These may be accumulate at the concentration that lead to crystal formation in the vacuoles. Plants produce certain waste of inorganic and organic nature which are stored in certain organs. The leaves are the prominent organs for this purpose. These leaves are destined to fall off as is the case of autumn leaves in plants, or die off as happens in the leaves and stalk of certain bulbs, for example bluebell, leaving the bulb underground. This is the reason gardeners find rotted autumn leaves a good source of minerals. The falling of yellow leaves in autumn is the seasonal time for the plants to get rid of accumulated wastage, and because of this reason leaves are said to be excretophore. According to an explanation, the change in color in these leaves is not due to removal of chlorophyll, as the microscopic examination of autumn leaves shows that leaves are loaded with pigmented compounds prior to falling off, and many toxic materials like heavy metals increase sharply as the yellowing proceeds. Some trees deposit strange chemicals in their branches and trunks, especially in old xylem, which is no longer used for water transport. This takes place in ebony, which produces very black wood in the center. These are considered to be waste materials by plant physiologists. Some plants with actively secret waste compounds in the soil, occasionally using them as chemical weapons against other competing plants, for example conifers. Excretion in animals. Keeping in view the definition of excretion as discussed earlier, that it is the elimination of waste metabolites, several products may be included in the list of excretory products. Water, due to its removal in hypersosmotic environment, is labeled as an excretory product in these specific conditions. Similarly, salts removed by animals of hypertonic environment are the excretory products for these animals. Otherwise, overwhelmingly nitrogenous waste metabolites constitute the excretory products. Primarily in the catabolism of amino acids, the amino group NH2 is released, deamination of transferred to another molecule for removal or reuse. Amino group not used for recycling of amino acids is essentially to dissolve in water and excreted to avoid toxic rise in the plasma. Elevated levels of these waste can cause convulsions, coma, and eventually death. Most excess nitrogen is excreted by animals as ammonia, urea, or uric acid. Lower quantities of nitrogen are excreted in the form of other compounds such as creatine, or trimethylamine oxide, and in very small quantities as amino acids, purines, and pyrimidines. Metabolism of purine and pyrimide bases produces significant amount of nitrogenous wastes, uric acid, urea, and ammonia. Nature of excretory products in relation to habitats. Ammonia is very toxic and dissolves quickly in body fluids, thus it must be kept in low concentration to the body. To maintain its lower concentration below that of body required larger volume of water as to eliminate it in urine as it produced. This is possible in an hypotonic environment. Therefore, ammonia kept as the excretory product of the animals inhabiting hypotonic, for example freshwater environment. About 500 ml water is needed to excrete 1 gram of ammonia nitrogen. In restricted supply of water, ammonia cannot be kept as excretory product. The other alternative is to change it into less toxic substances such as urea. Urea requires only 50 ml of water for its 1 gram of nitrogen removal. Here, excretory nitrogen is metabolically converted into urea by urea cycle in the animals inhabiting environment with restricted supply of water, for example terrestrial mammals.